Welcome to my kitchen and welcome to Ninja Creamiverse where we're going to talk a little bit about a lot of different things. Hey everybody, and it's warm. My dog Max cannot go downstairs because Cheryl's in a meeting, so you may hear some whining. Tell me how the weather is. Tell me if you have a Ninja Creami, and if you do you have the original, the Breeze, or the Deluxe? Or are you just thinking about getting one? And if so, go ahead and put in really like how many people are in your family, things like that. And we're going to talk about the differences. So what it appears to be on ninjakitchens.com, which is Ninja's website, is I noticed after I bought the Breeze, the original disappeared. For a while, it was the Breeze, the original, and the Deluxe. So from that, because right now both of these are out of stock on their website, and so it's not like they removed that one because it was out of stock. I am suspecting that this is replacing the Ninja Creami original. Those of you that have the original, and if we have questions about it, I have it nearby. You don't need to upgrade. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. If you want to, that's fine. There seems to be some improvements with both of these over the original, and in fact, kind of like I got two original Ninja Creamis, and the second one I got like, I don't know, maybe 6 months after. I felt like it was a little bit better built too. And I remember, and I see CJ saying hi, so I know in some parts of the world, like Scotland, you can only get the original right now, and that's fine. You can make all the recipes that everybody's making. If you're like, I want the Ninja Creami Deluxe so I can make slushies and cremachinos, go to my YouTube channel, watch it. I say Ninja Creami Deluxe Cremachino, but I show you how you can make it in the original as well. So while there's different buttons and functions on this Deluxe, at this point there's nothing none of the machines can't make. So I want to get that out of the way. Oh, so many lovely faces. Becky says she's looking forward to this. Her daughter-in-law has the Deluxe. Mona's here. Apple's here. Oh, Marie bought a Breeze at Kohl's. That's news to me because that must be the first store that's having it. I've not seen the Breeze outside of this. So Marie, did you notice at Kohl's, did they have any extra Breeze pints? Not seen them for sale anywhere, including on Ninja's site. And Dee says, I agree, Amazon will probably have the Breeze in late August. And I suspect so. As soon as like the holidays start buying stuff, and with this whole Ninja Creami thing from the beginning, even with the original, remember they released in the fall of 22? No, the fall of 21, and they sold out Black Friday. Then you couldn't get them for a while, and then they had them for a little while in the spring, and then they sold out. And then they came back with the original and then the Deluxe. So I think that that's been a really good marketing tool for them, and I think that's why they're using it. Just speculation, not facts. Oh, yay. Kim says she's excited. They don't have a Creami yet, but my husband ordered us the Deluxe. Excellent. Oh, Justine has the 7-in-1. That's awesome. Glad to have you. Christina had the original and then purchased the Deluxe a couple of months ago and just unboxed recently. And now there's another new one. I know. I'm a little bit up to here with like Instant Pots every 9 months and things like that. So that's why I'm doing this though for you guys. And again, we don't need to upgrade all the time. I have to because I have to show you. And if there, let's say you had a concern on the original that gets addressed in the Breeze, then that might be a reason for you to upgrade. So that's personal. Okay, Marie bought it on Kohl's online. Ooh, and Christina got the blue Ninja Creami Deluxe. You're so lucky. Best Buy Canada sold out again and raised the prices. I will say in Canada, Americans are complaining that these are like $1.99 to $2.50-ish, and it can change. But in Canada, stuff that is not that expensive for us here is like $200 more. Like, not just like, oh, it's Canadian money. No, like with the milk makers, it's obscene how much more expensive they are. I'm sure it has to do with tariffs, taxes, shipping, or something, but it's nuts. Marie, I do believe this is an engineering upgrade. I have a call out to the people that, because I'm an affiliate of Ninjas, to see if there's anyone I can talk to find out. I've only spun one pint so far, so I'm trying to find these things out little by little, but it does seem like that. Now this is hilarious. Justine says, I'm new to your channel than some of your other viewers, and I'm catching up on some of your older videos. I'm calling it Kathy Hester hairstyles through the years. I know, you've got the pandemic ponytail, then when I made my wife cut it off, and then there's one video with the very, very, very bad haircut that led to short hair from now on. Hey, Angela from South Beach. I bet it's lovely there, you guys. Yes, and Kim, the Deluxe was on Woot, and I found out about it when it was already sold out, or I would have told you guys. Okay. Yeah, I know. I've been putting out lots of shorts from older videos, and I feel like it's a different Kathy every day. So it is kind of, I'm glad you find it fun. I was worried that everyone was going to be like, this is really weird. What's that lady doing? Okay, so I can't get the lighting very good here on this camera, but let's look at this for a second, because you can see that really good. This is the Ninja Deluxe, and it is crazy up in here. All the things. We're going to talk about those. This one looks pretty much just like my original, with maybe some things in different places. We've got ice cream, milkshake, light, smoothie, sorbet, gelato, mix-in, and respin. And sorry for the shaky hands. Okay. This install and there's like a little timer and top full, bottom, ice cream, all of these things, and we're going to make some stuff with this. So that's one of the big differences, okay, is that there is a lot more going on here. Now, the one thing you can't do on anything else is just spin the top half of the pint. So in theory, I don't think you really need to. You could spin half of it and put the rest back in the fridge. Well, you can spin half of this and put it back in the fridge too, okay? Now, and I'm gonna get out the Breeze pint. I want it to be more frozen than the last one. So this is an original pint. This is the Deluxe pint, right? That's a pretty big difference. It is a 1 cup difference. Why do they call it a pint, people? It makes me sad. That's the one thing I don't get at all. So I'm gonna move this guy, and the new one has really good sticky feet. And we're gonna take a look at the Deluxe, because I haven't really done much with the Deluxe in a while. So I'm gonna come over here, where I think you're gonna be able to see a little bit better. Let's see if I can take this down. You don't need to be seeing me as much as you need to be seeing it. Okay. And I see somebody's asking questions. Okay. So we have the parts that are very similar to, get that out of the way. And I'm going to come back to there. So we've got our lid, our blade, and like I said, I've got my original right over here because the Breeze is very different. it's pretty much the same, just different size a little bit. The blade is also a different size. This is a little more see-through. People really freak out about stuff being in here. I never get it in here. You run water, can you guys, yeah, see there's a little thing there? Run water there, and it comes out on either side. It'll come out like that to rinse this out. If you've got some gross stuff in there, you can put it in the dishwasher. Okay, this I believe is the second one I got. It's a little clearer. Everything works the same. The blade on the Deluxe is a little bigger. The Creami Breeze blade is really pretty much exactly like the original. Okay, so let me move that out of the way. So you put this together the same way. We move this, these guys open up, right? And you can even see the inside. I feel like we're doing some sort of science experiment. Put that in. Once you have it in, all the models will still move. That's because this little nib comes down on that, grabs it, and then it's on solid. Okay? And let me see if there's some questions. Hello. Oh, great. Yvonne said she's really enjoying her new Deluxe. And you got the ebook. The ebook, my Whole Food Plant-Based Ninja Creami ebook, it's the original ebook. If you have the Ninja Creami experience, you have that ebook. But if you don't have the Ninja Creami experience, it's on sale for $11.99 instead of $16.99. Wherever you're watching, you can see it below. So that's probably going to be going on till June. And there's a secret sale in there. So if you've been wanting to get the Ninja Creami experience on sale, if you go in to buy the book, put it in your cart, go to checkout, it'll go, hey, would you like to get the Ninja Creami experience for 50% off? And you can get that instead of the book. I'm not advertising that for a while, so it's the secret sale for people in my private club like you. Okay, let's see what else I've missed. Donna got a great deal on clearance shelf at a warehouse store. Yeah, absolutely. Keep your eye out at Walmart's, Costco, Sam's Clubs, places like that, because they could get in a whole bunch at any time as they're being kind of clearanced out. The other thing is I heard that someone found one in a thrift store for $20. It wasn't me. And Tanya says, but then when you respin, so talking about just spinning half the pint at a time. If you add mix-ins, won't it just be a homogeneous blend afterwards? So the idea of the top and the bottom blend is I don't like chocolate and Cheryl does. So I make half a pint of chocolate and I make half a pint of strawberry. I spin half of that and that is my ice cream, and she can have her chocolate is one way. Another thing could be I make vanilla. I want it to be all the vanilla. So it has vanilla bean caviar in there. I don't want anything else in it. Cheryl wants nuts and chocolate chips and all this other stuff. I can spin half of it. You could also scoop it out and then do the mix-in. So that's why I'm saying, again, most things can be done even if it, the only thing is the slushy and the cremacino, you just have to do a slight workaround. You actually will make like half a pint of ice cream, then you will spin it, and then you will basically make a milkshake. Use the milkshake setting. Ooh, Ninja Creami Deluxe $179 plus 3 extra pints at Home Shopping Network. That is a really good price. Let me see if there's any more questions. Debbie says, I want to get one for my sister's family, but they're all sold out. Maybe I'll send her my brand new original and wait till I get one of the others. And I would go and look. The Deluxe is on sale. And it just depends on what you want. Like, I think the Breeze is quieter. It was in our first test. That's why I want to take it out of the fridge hard and see if it was just softer or not. And for the original, basically, okay, so if you're doing a mix-in, the deal is this. If it's hard it will just get mixed in. So let's say chocolate chips are actually chopped chocolate is better to use because chocolate chips aren't going to break up enough. It's going to hurt your tooth. You want to put strawberries in as a mix-in, that's just going to get blended in. You want to do a swirl, can't do that with the Ninja Creami inside the pint. What you can do is take your spun ice cream and put it in a bowl and delicately swirl in your strawberry swirl, your date caramel swirl, whatever you want to do. So there's that. Yes, that is true. So meaning that if you put it back in, so like let's say, that is true. If you are mix in central, if you have the deluxe, you could spin half of it, then put your mix-in, then put it back in. So that is very correct. Oh, you were not that late, Mary Jean. You are just right on time. As usual, we're going slow. Okay, so let's come back to this angle. Okay, so we're just like the original. This one goes in here. Trying to get it where you can see all the things. I'm going to put this on. Okay. The other thing about the Deluxe is it doesn't twist on. It slides in and it slides out. And you're going to find that as soon as you open the box. Okay. Trying to see if I can, which place is the best for me to get close to this screen for you to see. Can I make it go a little lower? Okay, you can sort of see there. It's still not the ultimate best. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the power. And the first thing you're going to see is the install button. That's okay. For the Deluxe, you have to pick top, full, or bottom. Okay, and for top or bottom, you can only pick the ones on the left, which are ice cream, light ice cream, sorbet, and gelato. Let's see if I can get this down a little bit more. Ew, that's as much down as it's going to go. Okay, so over here are the drinks. You can only select the drinks when we're talking about a full pint. And that's just it. Mix in and respin are here. So let's just spin the top part. Oh, first I have to actually put this in and click it in. La, la, la. So now we have this as a choice. The install button is no longer going. And these are actually buttons. And Rel asked me a while ago if this would be friendly for people that were visually impaired. There's no way, like none of this is raised. So it's not friendly for people who are visually impaired really at all. I'm going to press top. It's going to tell me what it's doing. So see, then I can move over here. I move this dial. See how the dot moves? And see, it won't let me move over here. Like none of those are going to move because it's on top or bottom. If I put it on full, then I can go over there. So this control panel is the most confusing part of the Deluxe at first. Okay, so let's do, this is actually just frozen pineapple. I'm going to put it on sorbet. I use sorbet and light ice cream for 99% of all the whole food pints that I do. Okay, and then we press this. It says it's going to be 2 minutes and it's going to be loud. So I may, actually, let's move it here so you can kind of see the top part of that being spun. Oh, it's cockeyed. Okay, I'm going to step away so you don't have to hear all that, but you may be hearing some of it anyhow. I know my microphone lowers it a little bit automatically. So when we're spinning this top part, I've heard that it doesn't always spin equally, like 50-50, so that maybe making chocolate on the bottom and strawberry on the top may not be the best idea unless, like me, you like chocolate and strawberry mixed together. And you might notice that usually I scrape the top of the pints, and I didn't with this one. And that's because it was actually flat. Who knew? And I thought what we would do also with this, to kind of do a little demo, is I'll scoop out the top half that gets spun, and then we could make a drink, because you can make cocktails, you can make cremachinos, which are basically frozen coffee drinks. And I think I have some frozen coffee in the fridge too. I mean, in the freezer, in another. I only have 2 pints each for the Deluxe and the Breeze at this point, whereas I have 20 pints for the original. Okay, and you can kind of see the timing is going down. It doesn't really, like, it's kind of showing you now with the blink that it's coming up. But let's take a look. And I'll answer some questions too, so sorry about that. So there's a button here, right? Just like the original, that brings this down. And then we have to pull it out that way. Okay. So as I would expect, right, it's not creamy, right? And if you haven't had one before, this is going to happen. There's nothing bad with it. We didn't do anything wrong. We just maybe need to add a little extra liquid. And so you could add some water, or you could add some milk, non-dairy milk. Usually what I'll do, and also I'm curious how far down it went. Oh, it did go about halfway. And you could try and chip your ice wall off to that point so that it can get spun in. We could also, to get rid of ice walls, and this goes for all the different ones, I could have put it in the microwave. I could have run warm water. I could have left it out. I could also just not have it bother me. It just depends on you. Okay. And honestly, you can tell here, like when we scoop it out, it's pretty good. Here, let's see. Let you see real good. But I think a respin wouldn't hurt anything. And oftentimes, like this has been sitting in the freezer for a little while. So at that point, it could just need a little more liquid. It's just like a tablespoon or 2 that I'm putting in here. And we'll save this because I know I'm going to need it for something else. I don't need to smooth it out or anything because we're just going to do respin. Bring this guy back over, put it in. We're still going to do the top. We still have to pick one. We're going to pick respin. Oh, thanks, Angela, for suggesting people click. Yeah, it always helps if you do a thumbs up. Let's see. I'm going to move away from there because it's still pretty loud. So one of the things that there are 2 things I see that people feel are a negative about the Ninja Creami over and over again. One is that it's loud. I don't think it's that much louder than a Vitamix, but I haven't done the decibels, and it usually runs 2 to 3 minutes, and that's it. And my dog doesn't get upset by it. My dog gets upset by like sometimes the Instant Pot coming up to pressure will make him have a fit. The other thing people get really like snippy about is I can't plan my ice cream in ahead 24 hours. And I find that a little bit funny because it's not that hard. It's also the people who say, I can't slow cook because I can't plan ahead of time. And see, look, now that looks good. And what I'm going to do, I thought I would just put this in a regular Ninja Creami pint that I have, and I will respin it again later so that we could do something with both of these. So that's why I'm doing the weird thing of scooping it out into another one. You don't have to. Normally you would be scooping this out to serve your family, right? And so if you have a larger family, here we go, that maybe the Deluxe would be for you, right? Because maybe Cheryl and I usually split the 2 cups, so we get basically 1 cup each. But as you notice, when it spins, it can get bigger, right? Because this is almost full. It's almost 2 cups. I should pack it down, and you should try and pack yours down when you don't eat it all to go back. It's better for your blades to not hit some kind of air pocket. Okay. And you can kind of see there's some little air pockets that I need to take care of. And literally, this is how I'm taking care of it. So none of this is like super hard. And what the recipe for this you can get on the blog. It's literally crushed pineapple with a little bit of non-dairy milk, if needed, to fill to the max fill line. And that's on any size that you might ever use. Okay, there we go. And you can see in here right where it stopped spinning. So let's get all that out. I think that's going to be a whole pint, and then we'll know exactly how much halfway really is. Trying to get the ice wall off too. Just get it all in here so we can start fresh and make a refreshing beverage. And then I'll answer your questions, I promise. So yeah, this is a whole thing, and I love Dole Whip. Dole Whip is really my favorite, and I just grab some canned pineapple from like Aldi's or Lidl's. I haven't seen at any of the big box stores where they have anything that really saves you a lot of money, so that's why I haven't been doing anything there. Let me move this so you can see the things that we're working with. And let me look. As a result of my husband, why aren't you coming on? I'm still on. There we go. Kim says, as a result of my husband buying us a Creami, I bought your Ninja Creami experience class, heard so many good things about it, can't wait to get into it. So if you're like, what the heck is she talking about? So it's I called it the Ninja Creami experience because it's not just an ebook, it's not just a bunch of courses, it's a little bit of everything. And in fact, we're going to do another live class in June or July. So it includes recordings from 2 3-hour live classes that you don't have to watch. If you're like, don't worry about that. Don't look at that. You download the ebook. That's the only whole food plant-based Ninja Creami ebook in existence at this point. Then I've got them sectioned out like, so you just got your Ninja Creami, and we unbox it together. They're little short, like 5 to 15 minute, really most of them I think are 5 to 8 minute long videos. We make 2 pints together that you can put in the freezer. We spin those pints together so you get everything step by step. I am working this summer on updating it with Deluxe and Bree's videos as well to go in there. But for right now, almost everything is still the same. It's pretty darn close. So you'll still get some benefit from it either way. Let me wipe this off the top. All right. I don't know, but I think that's a possibility. So I haven't gotten confirmation from Ninja, though I've tried, and I'm trying. And then Janelle, and I'm sorry if I'm not saying that correctly. Janelle says visually impaired could use the knob for settings. I mean, you can feel clicks, but there's no special home click. So honestly, it could be anywhere. So I'm not sure. Maybe if you can, I think if you just have very blurry vision like I had, I went to school with someone who just had to be right up close and they could see some of it. I think you could use it, but there's no braille. There's no, like even here, this is completely smooth. You wouldn't even know these were buttons. On the original, you can feel it ever so slightly, but I don't think it's, you know, like you wouldn't see the install light blinking. Everything pretty much is visual clues, unfortunately. So I'm not feeling good about recommending it for people who are visually impaired. Oh, good, Real. And tell me, Real and Janelle, if I don't do it on purpose, I try to be super specific, but I do know that I use, since I'm on video, I tend to use the visuals as a crutch. Please, any video that I'm ever doing that you guys are on, if you wish that I would explain something differently or you have a question, please tell me, because I want to learn to do better. So there you go. Anyhow, I'm putting that out there. Right now on their website it says both the Breeze and the Ninja Deluxe are out of stock. So I don't see that as they're stopping making it. It's not the same sign to me. And Marilyn's saying, how much do they both cost? In the US, this usually goes for $249 if it's not on sale, and I think it's $199 for the Breeze if it's not on sale. Someone was just saying they got this for $179 on QVC with extra pints. And Tanya says, does it have to be canned fruits and juice, or can I just use frozen fruit? In the course, I talk about using frozen fruit, so it is not a blender. So I can't just throw frozen fruit and some liquid in there and make a smoothie. What I can do is put frozen fruit in there, make sure it's completely covered in non-dairy milk so that it freezes as a solid block for 24 hours and then spin it. That can, depending on the fruit you're using, be harder on the motor. So I, 95% of the time, blend things together. Crushed pineapple, I don't. Chunked pineapple, I usually do. And yeah, it doesn't have to be canned fruits. It can be fresh fruits. In the class, I just did a balsamic class this weekend. No, on Thursday. I took fresh strawberries and mashed them with a masher and added the rest of my ingredients and mixed it really well. So you can use fresh fruit. Oh, that's great. Devillians just spun some pear sorbet, busted up pears I cooked in my Instant Pot. I use my Ninja Creami almost every day. I have 6 pints and they're almost always frozen. So the whole thing, you get at least 2 pints. So what I do when I get a new one is I make 2 pints and I fill them up, and then you kind of alternate them. Because in general, you're not eating 2 pints a day. You could be if you're doing a smoothie bowl in the morning and dessert at night. Then all you need to do is, wash the pint up and do it again. Justine usually has 4 pints going. I have a bunch of the original, but, and And yeah, this is the one Janelle was saying, the Home Shopping Network Deluxe. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's do something crazy. So let me come over here too. Nope. Come to the different view. There you go. All right, so on this pint is different. This is the freeze line, which actually is about 2 cups. So that means that's any recipe that's made for other things. So that's under drinkable. Scoopable max fill is another cup, right? So if I was just like, I froze my pineapple to here. If I wanted to do drinks, I would fill it to here. Then it tells me how much to pour in, and since this is below the freeze line, I'm probably just going to fill up to the freeze line. And this is where you can kind of make things work out. So I thought I would make a tropical treat. So I've been making some of the zero alcohol. Come on, get a hold of there. This is spiced cane spirit. It's one of those Liar's zero alcohol spirits, and I got it at Marshall's for $15 instead of $35. If you don't do sugar, it's probably not for you. It does have some sugar in it. They are all vegan, so I'm probably going to put maybe a third, maybe not even a third, maybe a quarter of that. I could add in coconut milk and make myself a pina colada, but I've got some soy milk and I'm just going to use it. All right. I don't have to do anything else, okay? So even though this is frozen solid, and the one thing I would say on making something like this in a Breeze or the original is I would probably do the spin the ice cream first. Okay, turn it on. So we're going to do full, right? And over here, we're going to go to frozen drink. And it's going to take longer. And I'm going to press the big button. I always want to press something else, so it's kind of like the Instant Pot Ultra. I always mess something out like that. And okay, and JM said they found some Liar's White Rum at the store, and it has a little bit of a sour aftertaste. So I'm coming over to get my white cane spirit. Well, that's 5 minutes spinning, and I'm going to do a little taste. And that's the beauty of zero spirit alcohols, is I can drink them during the day if I wanted to. I still usually save it for my like transitional from workday to evening drink. Okay, it has a sweet cane taste. Oh, I'm knocking all kinds of things, so hopefully you can still hear me. And you can see all that happening. And it does have a little bit of a sour taste. It almost tastes like they have some lime flavoring in here, or grapefruit maybe, some kind of citrus. As long as it was sealed, it shouldn't be bad. And I think it's 6 months that they get to be open. They don't get to be open as long as like liquor does, because liquor preserves itself. Yeah, I think yours is probably fine. I can taste what I think you're tasting, and I find that over 90% of these I wouldn't drink just by itself, but once you put it in a blend or a cocktail, that's when the magic really starts. You can kind of see all that start whipping up in the in our frozen cocktail. And I'm gonna get whoo, it's loud. It is loud. I think that might actually be enough for two. Oh, did you guys see I don't think you could see the big bird. I think it's a crow, but it was, yeah, I don't think you guys could see it from that view. Woo. Okay. Okay, for me, I get to complain about this now because it's 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes is a lot. And what I'm doing now, because we have an open layout up here, so I'm sure you can still hear it, but I'm walking to the farthest place away in the living room. And typically that's what I do. The very first time you spin something, you do not want to leave it. You want to be nearby in case you got a lemon, right? In case something's wrong with the machine. But after that, I don't like leave the house and go take a walk, but I don't stand right by it. And I think I can hear it starting to come up. Yeah, and you can see it's, nope, we're getting there though. It's got 1 minute. I know it's only 2 or 3 minutes longer, but doesn't it seem like it's forever? Or is that just me? Whew, okay. Well, now it'll be really interesting to see if the breeze seems quieter. I wanted to do it on a harder frozen pint. Whew, this little guy's warm. He was working hard. Again, I'm going to press that button and the Deluxe pulls out. The original just goes around, okay? And we'll look at this blade versus that. First thing I'm going to do is take this out, take a tasting spoon, and taste it. And then see how smooth it is, if it needs to be smoother. That is delicious. So what this would be like is the rum Dole Whip. Oh no, Joanne, we haven't even gotten to the breeze yet. Joanne's like, I guess I'm not going to be watching the replay. That's funny. So this is, and I like my frozen drinks frozen. I don't play around. So you might want a thinner drink. And see, there was a little ice wall that came in there. We could have respun it, but I'm like, this took long enough. That's how I feel today. And a lot of times, you guys, when I'm making stuff for me and Cheryl, and this goes with the other pint too, is I'll eat my half just out of the pint. I'm like, okay. So I'm just going to rinse. I don't know if we're going to do anything else in this one except show and tell. So Cheryl is not up here, or I would give her a luxurious drink. Let's see, those are good. So, my mind is making it taste like coconut because it for real does not have any coconut in there. But the creaminess, maybe you can see in that one a little bit better. You're just not, there you go. Woo! I swear there's no alcohol in here. It just seems like I'm drinking. Okay, let me see what questions I may have missed, and then we're going to go and look at the breeze. And the reason I'm giving such a detailed description of the Deluxe is because I know a lot of you guys have gotten the Deluxe or are thinking about getting the Deluxe. Okay. Oh, the breeze sticks to the bottom really, really well. So whereas over here we've got the container and the top and the blade, we just have this thing now that fits on the breeze pint. All the pints for all the models are different and not interchangeable. Don't yell at me. I've got 20 original containers. That also means probably what I'm going to do, because I'm working on a second book, and for the Ninja Creami, is I'm probably going to do it in the original. Everything works the same, the recipes will work the same, but that way I can do the book quicker. And again, if you have an original with a bunch of pints, unless you see something that's magic for you, and if you do, tell me so I can point that out to other people. Keep what you got till it breaks, right? Now, what I see as being, oh, there's going to be a lot of that, sorry. I'm going to switch to this camera. There we go. Okay, so let's look at this. Do you see that's the rubber seal that previously was here and too loose and stuff gets in there and we have to wash it out. This one doesn't come out. Also, this is sealed much better, though there is still a little place that you can run water, and it comes out of these holes up here. It doesn't come from around the sides anymore. Okay? This is about the same size blade, but this top is completely different and is going to go directly on the pint. And I'm going to show you that. Okay, great. And Joanne says that almost accident was the metal straw's fault. You're so kind. It was my clumsy self's fault. So we've got the same install: ice cream milkshake, light ice cream smoothie bowl, sorbet, gelato. And honestly, let's just pull out all the toys, because we can. Oh. Ooh. I have a drippy. All right. And sorry, that's a little up too close and personal. But this is the original. And see how it's pretty much the same. I like the way they have mix in and respin together, because I think like the way they had it in the buttons, it alluded that you would use that as a main setting. So I think that was nicer. And you know what? Okay, on the Ninja Breeze, the button backgrounds do feel rough while the rest feels smooth. The install as well. But you do not feel a difference in the power button, the mix-in, or the respin. So I don't know if that would help visually impaired people enough to actually use it. Instead of the release button being on the side, it's on the front. This is also tilted. So just put this over, but let me... So again, we're pretending this is the original, that we're putting the blade in. We put a pint in here, a magic invisible pint. I'm going to put that lid on, and it goes in here, and then I latch it up, right? There's none of that. There's just none of that, okay? So that's the differences as far as just the actual machine. Now, let me get a pint out of the freezer. And I may have to, we'll do another lemon yogurt like I did for the first demo, which was delicious. Okay, oop. I don't know why it doesn't. And so the lids are a little bit different. This is an original lid. This is, I don't notice really that they help that much more. Now, this has a hump. Okay. So I'm going to move this for a second and I'm going to answer questions and scrape the hump. You guys see it this way. Now, yes, I agree with you, Joanne. The original makes sense to keep using until it no longer works and then replace it. And you know what? By the time you replace it, the way they're going, it could be Model 5, Model 10, who knows? So I don't want you to get into this race where you feel like it has to be. Because I feel a little bit that way, but like I'm trying to help people decide what's the differences, and then I'm developing recipes, so I need to make sure they work in all of them. Like if you have the Ninja Deluxe, you can use the regular whole food plant-based Ninja Creami ebook. And you can do one of two things. Make it normal and just make like half of it, right? It'll come to about here. Or do 1.5 times the recipe. I am currently working on updating the ebook and making one for the deluxe measurements, but we'll see when that gets done. Hopefully before the summer's over. Fingers crossed. How does the rod that comes down not get gunky? There's a thing and it really just scrapes all of it off. I'm not an engineer, but I've also put water in the pint to see it and it's not gunky. So it works. I don't know if there's any advantage to the tilt, and again, I'm really trying to get them to talk to me, so I hope that they let me talk to someone. I do know the footprint of this is smaller, and so, you know, I don't see, I was scared there would be a disadvantage, but I don't see a disadvantage. I think one of the advantages is that the little nib you can see and you're more likely to wipe it off, because you do need to wipe it off with a wet cloth, clean cloth or paper towel, because it could get a little bit of stuff. You notice it more if it's chocolate, right, because you can see it. Yeah, and it gets squeegeed off on its way back up. That's a great way to put it. I'm sure there's something much more complicated and engineering way to say that. Oh, the lemon yogurt recipe, I think I used a cup of unsweetened vegan yogurt, juice and zest of 1 medium lemon, fresh, and like a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon extract. I used agave nectar. You could use maple syrup. You could use dates to sweeten it. And then just if you ever have any room left, add some extra liquid. So there you go. I'm going to try and get it up on the blog, but it's hard to do all the things all at the same time. The different tops keep them in the black. Yes, they do. They're going to be selling a lot of containers. And Kim says new models seem to be coming out like iPhone models. Yep, it's true. Okay, now this is what's crazy. So you guys can kind of see there. So this one has wings, right? Because now this outer container, and the other thing that's kind of cool is it has ridges like the deluxe container. And that may or may not help with an ice wall. I don't know yet. And like I said, this one's frozen pretty solid. And I've been talking and not scraping. So let's scrape. I believe in, whoo, that something loud happened outside. That even if it's just a little bit, I like to scrape that hump because we are kind of bucking the system with our whole food plant-based stuff, and it's, you know, without fat and sugar, we are looking at just the fiber basically kind of helping us out. Marie says, have you found anything that's too hard to spin? If I think something's hard, going to be really hard, I honestly let it sit out. So I don't find out. I don't want to find out by breaking my machine. So I err on the side of caution. You cannot do ice. You can do store-bought lemonade or homemade lemonade with sugar in it. But you wouldn't want to do one, I don't think, with just like stevia or one of the artificial sweeteners. Because you know, it can't be as hard as ice. And this is pretty hard. So I've done this easily in my original. I have not tried this in my Breeze yet this hard. The first one that I did, I had left out while I was talking. Another important thing, this scraper, I taste. Does it taste like it needs more sweetener? Because if it does, when it's going to be crumbly, like it probably will because my freezer is very cold, I could add agave nectar or a date syrup or a liquid sweetener instead of non-dairy milk if I wanted to and it needed it. Okay, let's come back over to this camera. Oh. I tell you what though, this one is not walking across the counter. It grabs on. Okay. So basically there's a max fill just like there is for everything, and there are all these arrows, and it even, see, this is why I don't understand why it's more in Canada. Come on. There you go. Because it even says it in French, I think, which is typical Canadian behaviors. So I've got and here we go. I'll take this out. It works just like the other, even though it's smaller. I'm going to hold that, drop this in, and it's still going to wiggle a little bit. Remember, that's okay. This is a magnet, and when the rod comes in here, it gets it all magnetized. Okay, so it's going to go in here. I'm going to righty-tighty it, and then, let's see, there we go. I think it's, and did you hear that? It clicks, and I can't move it around. So that's how I know it's doing well. And I'll move this, see if I can move this camera where it can get near this too. Okay, so I'm going to press on, and then I'm going to press light ice cream. Okay. And to me, that's a significantly different, but let's see how loud it's still quieter to me. I'm right up on it. Maybe. So Joanne is asking, if the ridges make a difference, would they tell us? And I think the thing is they're just figuring some of this stuff out too. But what I find interesting is that in this redesign, that's one of the things they chose to incorporate from the Deluxe, which was like version 2, where they got to re-engineer a lot of things. And it just seems like it's lower, so I do know they changed the mechanism. So it goes down here and then out this way, instead of everything going straight. And also on this one, instead of little lines, there's little dots to let us know just how far it's gone. And let me see if I can make it where you can see those. Here. And the blade's about down in here now. So some of the things I like about the Breeze, and again, I've not extensively used it. I like that it's quieter, takes up a little less space. I like that there's less parts to break and replace. So instead of an outer bowl and an outer lid and a pint. You just have the pint and the outer lid. What I'm nervous about for the Breeze, although it is nice heavy plastic, I worry that when you drop it, that one of those little things could break off and then your pint would be unusable. But I guess in the end, it's about $25 to $29 to replace the outer bowl, so I don't know that it's that much different. Okay, so we're going to press this. Okay. And it is as I said it probably would be. Come on. There we go. I don't know why you're not, maybe it doesn't like this angle, but it usually grabs it better. Yeah, and we're not seeing nothing there. You can sort of see that it's crumbly. So what I'm going to do is take that spoon, just make a little divot, and then, and also now's the time you could scrape your, you could scrape this. So I wouldn't go looking for something that's too firm to spin. If something looks really, really hard, I let it sit out. So, because all it takes is one thing too hard to break your machine. So I'm not willing to make that $200 mistake. It didn't mention the motor as far as the materials that I've seen, and that's what's hard. I think everybody's trying to keep their proprietary information. And Don Villian says there's commercials during this live video. I turned on monetization early, and that must be what it is, because sometimes I forget and then I don't make any money. So you guys can tell me, are they like super horrible? Tell me what's going on, and I can not do it next time. But basically, it's just to help me make more recipes for you. So I don't know if the experience is really bad. So awesome. So I just put, and usually when I'm putting some extra milk in here, I'm going to put 1 to 2 tablespoons. I'm not putting a lot. If it is just dry and super hard, I'm going to put even more. But for me and my freezer, I never don't respin. It's almost impossible for me. Now, if your freezer isn't as cold, it's possible for you. So you can see from this angle. See, it's really easy to go in. And I'm going to press the respin button. Oh. Oh no. So Justine and all who are seeing the advertisements, are they like, I thought they would just be little things below that you could click on or not click on. Are these like full-on ads where you're where the whole screen is covered? Because that would make a huge difference for me. Oh my gosh. You guys, I gotta go look over here. Oh my gosh. There are fire trucks and police across the street. Here, I'll bring you along. Oh, they're full ads? Okay. I didn't think that's what would happen. They didn't explain it to me. But here, this is what I saw. Can you guys see? Sort of. There's a lot of stuff happening over there, and I hope everybody's okay. So I feel bad looking out over here without telling you, but now you understand why I was like, whoa. People don't always pay attention, and I know the people in that house just did. Sorry, there's lots of woo, and that probably made you all very dizzy, and I apologize. Yeah. Okay, so well, we'll play with it and see how it works. Why do you say they're running too hot? This one isn't hot at all. There's no place on it. And this is, yeah. Okay, I don't know. If you guys aren't subscribed and you're not getting ads, maybe subscribe. And I'm not trying to make you. That's in the comments. I'm seeing that people who are subscribed aren't getting ads, so I don't know. I know there's fire trucks, and I'm trying to see if I think it's a car accident, because there is a car there. And I know some of you guys are new, but there was a time, remember when I ran out and I said, wait, there's an accident happening. That's exactly the same spot, and they knocked this pole, and these people just bought that house and did a whole bunch of work in their yard this weekend, so I hope it's not messing that up. Okay. It's not my house. No, but especially when I see stuff like that. So I know I'm older, but we live in an older neighborhood where people are older than me, sometimes decades older than me. So oftentimes, and as people move on, younger people are coming in, but that intersection, people don't pay attention, and actually, you know, it's scary. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm not trying to make you guys upgrade or anything like that. I literally thought, because it used to be the only ads that came up were like little, like where these comments are now, and that's what I thought you guys would get. I will do my best to not do it for the next live or to talk to you about it. I'm only saying that because, like, if I make enough money to pay my mortgage today, which is not going to happen, then I'll talk to you about it. If it did, I will have a party and I will give away a Ninja Creami too, but I think that's not going to happen. Okay. Alrighty, so let's take a look at this guy again. Okay, and I don't subscribe to premium either, so I'm totally not trying to make you guys subscribe to anything. It's always nice if you subscribe to my channel. It looks good. Okay, let me move this guy where it's not so much getting the lights. And then let's see if this one helps. Yeah, see how smooth and creamy that is? Now let's really see how smooth and creamy it is. It was working there for a second. It's either too much light or not enough light. So it's really nice and creamy. And it's going to make a really nice ice cream scoop of it. So to me, I think this is my new favorite. I know I said pineapple was my favorite like a hot second ago, but this lemon is just great. And you could do less lemon juice, more zest, if you don't want it to have that tang, but I like the tang of the yogurt, the tang from the lemon. But what I like is that this is quieter. I think the lid is better built. We will find out. I can't take this out to clean it, but also it's tight enough that it's an actual seal. Like a seal that's loosey-goosey and doesn't go in tightly isn't a seal. So I've always been confused by that in the Deluxe and the original version. So you can't use your original pints. And actually, let's do this. So you can see that these are fairly substantial. They're not just like little tiny bits to break off. Like I would not be able to break that off with my hand. So they've probably done some testing to make sure those are pretty good versus when it had none, right? So that's really the difference there. Okay, and if you guys missed anything that I was saying while I tested this ad thing, I'll wait a couple minutes. So if I missed a question, I'm going to look back, but also go for asking me more questions about things like that. You get the ads and then you can do skip ad just like regular. Okay. Well, it just depends. I had some different options that I hadn't had before. And then I also realized, I think the last 5 live videos I didn't put any monetization on them because I do a live and then I'm tired and I don't necessarily go back and update it. So we can work with that. Justine says, do you think you could use silken tofu instead of the yogurt? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And Joanne says, it won't have the same tartness, but it still will have some tartness from the lemon and the zest, so you're probably okay. It just depends on how much tartness you want as well. And all of my recipes, someone had said, did I put nutritionals in the Ninja Creami book? No. And this is why, and with the second book I'm going to talk, I'm trying to think of a way that I can do it even easier, where you pick a base and then you pick your thing, so that you could have pecan base, soy base, oat base, applesauce base, sweet potato base, banana base. And it's just the calories are not going to be the same. Neither is any of the nutrition if we pick pecans over banana or sweet potato over banana. So the same thing goes with sweetening. All these recipes give you a guideline, and I encourage you as you make it to taste it, right? I want you to taste it, decide if it's really what you want. Do you want more sweetener? So use half of what I say. Try it and you might be like, I'm good. And then if you have some extra room, just add some extra whatever base you're using. Oat cream, soy milk. I've been putting okara, and I have okara and soy in this pint because I've been making homemade soy milk again. And I just, once I make it and I'm straining it, I put it straight into a Ninja Creami pint, make me a pint of ice cream. And it's awesome. It's protein and fiber. So there's so many different things that you can do with it. Excellent question, Kim. And the answer is yes, you can. So if let's say I ate half of this, or a third of this, or a little more, like 3/4 of it. I wouldn't go more than a quarter to save, because then you're going to have an ice wall and an ice on the bottom. And what you would do if you have just a little bit is scrape all that down after the first spin and then respin it. That will help. But you just smooth off the top, put the lid back on, and put it in the freezer. Ta-da! Easy peasy. That goes with all the models. And yes, I am queen of options, but it annoys some people that I'm not doing calories and nutritionals, but literally my soy milk may be different than your soy milk. If I'm using a 1/2 cup of soybeans to 5 cups of water, and you're using a cup of soybeans to 4 cups of water, it's a big calorie difference. Also, are you using the okara? If you're making almond milk, are you discarding the almond pulp? There's just too many variables to even come up with a ballpark. I would have to go, you must use this and this and this to get these nutritionals, and then people are going to be misled. And that's really important to me, that no one's misled. So there you go. You like my soy milk ratio? That's awesome. And Joanne says, I love sneaking protein into my food. Yeah. I think it's really, I like the idea of zero waste, and I've been using okara for a lot of different things. And I think I told you this on my last live. I've been putting nutritional yeast, a little lactic acid, some lemon zest and lemon juice, or you could use a little apple cider vinegar and nutritional yeast. I think I said that, a little salt or salt substitute, and that's a great ricotta. It's just leftover stuff made into ricotta instead of spending $10 for a Kite Hill almond ricotta. Just saying. Also, I just saw an Almond Cow where they made an almond pulp ricotta too. So Yes, Mona, I agree with you. You can do your own calorie labels using Chronometer. I think there's a whole bunch of websites that'll do nutritionals, and I always encourage people. So if you're keeping track of all this for a medical reason, don't ever just go on what the nutritionals are, because people are going to a database. Maybe it's pulling bamboo shoots with salt on it. Maybe it's pulling bamboo shoots without salt. You just don't know. If you have your own program, then you can put exactly what you're using and you'll know exactly what you're eating. Because I feel like when people are diabetic, if you're on a certain, like macro regime or something like that, that's the only way it's accurate. Because for my books, I put in whatever was on the can when we were using it. Well, it's different now, and the cans are more or less. I'm hearing more sirens. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. There's another fire rescue. There's 2 fire rescues and 2 ambulances, right? Is that ambulance? Ambulance? I can't say it. I'm like, okay. I'm bringing you guys over. You want to be nosy neighbors with me? I didn't know it was going to be this much of an exciting live. Look, there's another. I think that's a real. They just keep coming. Now there's one on my street. See, look. I know there's a lot of trees, but I hope everybody's okay. I know I can't really do anything, but it felt rude not to bring you along. So it's not my neighbor across the street who's a little bit older that I always try to pay attention to. So that's what's important. Ooh, Joanne's been using ground up Great Northern beans for the milk cream in my chowders. And like, do you mean ground up like you're taking the dry beans and grinding it into flour? Because Marilyn has got me like all up in that, and I've got a Nutri-Mill now. So I haven't posted it yet, but I've done the video of the unboxing, and I'm going to make some bean flours. This is totally not involved with the Ninja Creami now. So if you have some Ninja Creami questions, you guys go ahead and ask, and I'm going to be keeping an eye out. Oh yeah, and here's the thing. It's like zero effort ricotta. Like, I take the okara, I mix some stuff in it, and like I put that in with a bolognese sauce. You could put it in lasagna. It's really delicious. Now I want lasagna. And Tanya says, for me, I don't like seeing the breakdown of calories. I find it triggering. And we've been talking about some of that stuff when we were kind of talking about health goals and things like that, because obviously this is not a weight loss show, but we've talked in other lives and things about that I am losing some weight for a specific health issue that will be greatly improved if I lose, like 20 pounds or something. I think it was 20 or 24 pounds. So I am paying attention to that simply because that's going to be a big change for something that's going on with me. Not because when I lose that weight, I can wear a bikini or something like that. That's not happening. I can lose all the weight, and I'm still not doing that. But yes, I find that it can be triggering for some people, especially people who maybe have eating disorders or who have, who just live in the society we live in, honestly. Like, it's very hard. I personally, and I'm looking for some other people to bring on the plant-based chat to talk about how we can kind of have some goals and not make ourselves crazy. In other words, I'm trying not to make myself crazy. So I like that. I do too. I know. Well, I have to say, because we're kind of in the suburbs, so when something happens, the people come. One time, I'll tell you this story. I don't think I've ever told you guys this story. The alarm went off or something. I can't remember what happened. We had just moved here. We were getting used to the alarm system, and I pressed something wrong, and the alarm went off, and I took it off. I called the alarm company to make sure no one would come. They said everything was good. I got in the shower, and then I hear the siren, and I just gotten out of the shower, so I'm in a towel. I have bath sheets, thank goodness. And so I put my bath sheet on, I'm coming up to the door, and I see this fireman running towards my house with an axe, and I'm like, no! Don't knock my door down. So I run out to these firemen in my bath sheet. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I felt so guilty because I'm like, there could be a real fire and you're here. And I'm so sorry. I called the people and they're like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, I give you full permission to talk about the middle-aged lady running out in her towel, telling you to please don't break her door down. I will. I may not see. I think I heard something else. Did someone leave? Nope. They're still all there. Oh, there's some more down the road, too. If Cheryl knew, Cheryl would be out there. I don't think she's watching me live. Let me see if I can get her to. You guys are going to hear me yell like, hey, Cheryl! Cheryl! Cheryl? Yeah. Come out for a minute. What? There's like 5 fire engines and stuff. Can you find out what's going on? The corner where the last accident was? If you knew it was happening, you would have already been out there. I just heard some. Okay. So Cheryl's going to check it out. Sorry for yelling like I was brought up in a barn, but she was downstairs with the door closed, so she's going to find out possibly. Okara can be frozen. I've frozen it. So yeah, I've got some frozen that you can just plop into a pint and go. I'm sorry. I know, and you said it again. And so now I think we're going to have to do that. I have some oyster mushrooms in the fridge that I could chop up and use for mince. And so Joanne says, no, I'm just cooking up beans and using the leftover pureed into broth. That is amazing. That's amazing. And white beans and shelf-stable tofu works great as ricotta, because really all we're trying to do is get this kind of bulky base, very similar to what we do in the Creami. In fact, we're making this bulky thing and we're flavoring it. And then we're creating the texture we want. And ricotta is smooth and a little bumpy too, so you got a lot of wiggle room. Okay, Dr. Deb says, in whole food plant-based programs, many do not count calories or list nutritional content. Folks can tend to get hung up on calories. Yes, I totally agree with you on that. And I also think it's just it's easy to think, well, this says this is 100 calories, so I'm going to do all these changes because I encourage people to change up things to fit their tastes and their diets and whatever their doctor's saying. So maybe that was 100 calories to start off with, and maybe it's 400 calories now that we've done all these changes. And I think people get too caught up in the minutia. And the thing is if you're doing a pint of fruit, like applesauce, pineapple, I did a strawberry balsamic one that I'm in the class, and so I took a pint of strawberries, took the tops off, smashed them. I can't remember if I think I put Okara and soy milk and agave nectar, but I might have put dates in it. I can't remember honestly. And so anything that's mostly fruit is pretty good, and Chef AJ eats a pint a night when it's like that. Now, if you're starting to put coconut milk in there, if you're starting to put a lot of nuts in it, that's a different story, and you have to go internally and decide if that fits with your diet or not, and if that's okay with you. You totally could add beans to an ice cream base. I haven't done it yet, but absolutely. In the Great Vegan Bean book, I do a lot of bean desserts, so it would absolutely work. And And Kim says, I've decided I'm doing my very best being whole food plant-based. Whatever my weight ends up being, I'm supposed to be is where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to enjoy my life. It's not worth getting hung up on calories. And I do agree. And I think the thing is that a lot of us were brought up in a way that we have to, that we're overly worried about things. Like there's sometimes that calories matter in some situations, like mine right now, right? Where I am trying to lose some weight to improve a health condition. But most people aren't there, you know, and if that's not you, don't get hung up on it. And I think I've talked before too, it's like most of us are 90 to 95% whole food plant-based. There are some of us that are 100% all the time, never failing. But a couple of times a year, I'm going to have a piece of vegan cake. And I'm okay with that. That's okay with me. It does, if you have a heart condition and you would have heart surgery if you did that, that's not okay for you. And that's why I say look inside and see what's okay with you and not. And that's why I like to offer the choices, because like I'm digging the soy ice cream. In the first book, I didn't talk about soy at all because it's a lot of people like to have soy alternatives. And as soy is disappearing from our shelves, it's hard to find soy ice cream. You can get it at Trader Joe's. It's harder to find soy milk. That's why I started using my milk maker and doing milk maker reviews and things like that, because we should have the choices that fit best with our lives. Like Chef AJ can't have soy. She's allergic. I'm not, and I love it. But if you don't, it's okay to use something else, right? Like life is not this linear, I take 1 cup of this, I take a pinch of salt, I take this, right? I make it where it tastes good for me, and I teach you to make it where it's good for you and how to do that. That to me, that's the magic. That's where the magic happens. Ooh, Marie's making artichoke spinach pasta today. I pretend that's lasagna. Go and bring some over to me. And Dee loves to use a cara. And Angela has the premium YouTube, which is why she's not getting ads. Thank you guys so much for being in on this experiment and being patient with me on it. Let's see. Yeah, Joanne says we're creating the texture and finding the flavors with a great bonus protein. I bet it could be used in the Creami. I'm sure. I'll look and see about making. I do have a chickpea chocolate in the Whole Food Plant-Based Ninja Creami ebook, and that worked great. Yeah, share azuki beans, and I have in, what book was it? It was the Great Vegan Bean book. I make red bean paste, and I make red bean popsicles, and we could totally make that in the Creami. Yeah, and I think that's great. And I think Tanya's saying, calorie counting is helpful for some and not others. And I totally agree. And I think it's really important as we learn about ourselves to create those boundaries and stay within them as much as we can. And there's always going to be this time you're like, ooh, I thought I was okay, but maybe I'm not. Let me back away a little bit. Be it calorie counting or eating nuts or talking to your crazy friend. It's all those things. Let's see. Yeah, Dr. Deb, many baby boomers have been told since day one, clean your plate. And not just baby boomers. I'm Gen Z, Gen X, sorry. I forgot. I say Gen Z so much, Gen X. And so we were told the same thing. I think that's Cheryl coming in. So was it an accident, like a car? I didn't hear any cars smashing, but I was using the Ninja Creamies. They could have happened then. Here, just come. You don't have to be on camera if you don't want to, but.
Oh, it basically looks like the front of a Ford F-150 crew cab is completely missing. And then, I don't know if it's the guy that normally picks up trash around the neighborhood, like he hauls junk.
Yeah.
It looks like his trailer.
Oh no.
So it looks like that truck hit his trailer.
What's always
And jackknifed his.
Oh, so there's a lovely man who comes by and picks up some of the trash and stuff, and so she's saying she thinks some car. So people cut through our road. It's not like it's just like
It looks like one of the. It looks like it also could be one of the yard crews trucks, or else one of the.
Well, it looks like at least one of the ambulances is gone now.
Yeah, whoever was in that white truck is probably hurt pretty bad.
And that's probably who caused the accident.
I would think so.
Okay.
Unless the trailer and truck spun around. I can't tell because of where the fire truck is.
Okay. And there were like 4 fire trucks, 3 ambulances or something.
Yeah,
So anyhow, I've been bringing the thing over because they keep looking. I'm like, let me bring you along. And so they wanted an update.
That white truck that's right there, right, kind of like just over the intersection, the whole front end is missing.
Okay, so big truck, front end missing, bad accident. And I didn't hear it, and I bet you it's when we were doing this Ninja Creami. Oh, here. Also, look.
Oh, thanks. It's also bad enough that the sheriff.
The sheriff is there.
The sheriff and the state highway patrol are both there.
The sheriff and the state highway patrol. You didn't know you were getting like the whole drama story along with the Ninja Creami Deluxe and Breeze, because wouldn't that just be enough?
What is this? It's like a cocktail.
Yeah, it's like a pina colada, kind of. It's non-alcoholic rum. She's like, why are you giving me alcohol in the afternoon? I am not. I swear. Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, so Gen X were told clean your plate too, starving people and blah, blah, blah. And Dee said, come on. There we go. I whipped up a roasted sweet potato and basil with a dash of maple syrup, savory and delicious. That's an awesome pint right there. Yeah, that's a great point too. If you don't want soy, choose another bean. And I do know that I made white bean ricotta, I think, in the Great Vegan Bean book. So if you have that, that's in there. I feel like I've upped my game on texture a little bit since that book with some of the things, but they're still delicious and they're easily made. They all have whole food plant-based options.
There's detectives there too.
I don't know if you heard that. Cheryl said now there are detectives there. See, I told you Cheryl didn't hear it or she would have been out in it, because that's Cheryl. Cheryl's always like, let me go see what happened. And Tanya says, I'm not whole food plant-based, I'm vegan. I like the balance and it works for you. And that's great. Everyone is welcome here. We only do vegan plant-based recipes. But if you haven't transitioned and you just want to have some more veggies, or you want to know how to make some healthier Ninja Creami pints, you're still part of this wonderful community. And Apple said, in Canada, it's hard to find soy milk without additives. Another reason why I'm making my own soy milk. Absolutely. Like, I think Silk Green Carton is the only organic soy silk, and it may be the only soy left in the Silk range. Oftentimes with Walmart, Target, you can find store brands that are organic, but they do have more additives in them for sure. And Dr. Deb says, we heard about starving kids overseas, starving relatives during the war. It's trying to get past these messages and living your best life. Absolutely. And, I like to put out the information and then use it the way that works for you, because there's someone out there, like I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. Somebody else out there is trying to gain a little bit of weight, right? So all the options need to be available to everyone. And Kim says, I've spent a long time worried about my weight, especially after having my kids. I decided to let it go for my own peace. Congratulations. And I do so understand what you're saying. And one of the reasons I we'll probably keep having these conversations too, is because I am talking about my goals and trying to be vulnerable with my health issues with you guys. And I also just want to be real clear on why I'm doing what I'm doing and how this is not turning into a, 99 ways you can lose weight in the next 30 days sort of thing. No, that makes me feel squidgy. And Tanya says, I'm Gen X and we had to use bread to sop up all the sauces and clean the plate. Absolutely, that white bread too, right? That squishy white bread. Justine says, where can I buy zucchini beans? I would love to try them. I can't find them. In Massachusetts. You would definitely find them in an Asian market near you. Depending on where you are in Massachusetts, you may or may not have that available, and you can get them on Amazon. That's the beauty of Amazon right now, is things that I didn't have access to when I lived in New Orleans a bazillion years ago. There was one store that had some Asian ingredients. And so I would just go there and spend a lot of money on them. Yep. And Christina says, what is okara? Okara is the pulp left over after you make soy milk and you strain it. So since I'm making homemade soy milk, that means I'm putting it in a thing that cooks them and blends them all together. I'm using my Mia mat. And then I strain it through a fine mesh. Actually, I'm trying 3 fine mesh strainers, one after the other, to try and be cool like Joanne is. And then what's left over in there is the okara. Yeah, people are talking about the accident. Yeah, it is going to be a crazy replay video. Usually I don't show you the outside, but literally 4 or 5 fire trucks, 2 ambulances, sheriff, highway patrol, and now plainclothes detectives. I live in a suburb in North Durham. This is, it's a lot. It's a lot. It is not difficult to make your own soy milk. I like using a milk machine for it, but you can do it 2 ways. If you have a Vitamix. So you can usually everybody soaks the beans. If you do or don't, that's up to you. Blend it with some, so you can either cook them first and then blend them, or blend them and then cook them. But cooking has to happen at some point. Straining has to happen at some point. So if you're using your Vitamix compared to making pecan milk, yeah, it's harder. It just takes more time. If you're using a milk maker, it does all that together, and then I just pour it through, strain it, and clean it up. And I just clean up one thing. JM says 80-20 works for me right now. I think that's great. And I think with some of us, especially those of us who tend towards perfectionism and towards beating ourselves up, I think it can be good to have some wiggle room if your health allows it. Just because, there was a time in my life that if I would go off of a plan, I will have failed. And you know what? We're all going to make mistakes. All the time. And it's okay. We learn from those mistakes and we move on, right? If you have a serious health ailment, you may have to kind of have your guide rails up a little higher than everybody else's. But just remember, you still have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. So being mean to yourself, it was very interesting because I was sick for about 3 or 4 days. And I just started feeling better last night. And so I didn't exercise because I was sick. I had a fever, right? But part of me in my head was oh, you should be exercising. Oh, how is this going to mess everything up? And then I was like, stop. I have to get better now. That's my priority now. So I think sometimes we have to make sure that we're also giving ourselves kindness and rest and some space. Dr. Deb says it's all about meeting people where they're at, and I think that's exactly true. And Christina, so much fake soy news. Yes, because I do not see Asian countries with men with breasts. So that alone tells me I'm not feeling some of the hysteria about soy. Now, could some people be allergic? Could it not work well for some people? Absolutely. Absolutely. But to me, that's a totally different thing. Whole food plant-based. I kind of like that whole food beans. Whole food beans. I could get on that train. Oh, and Tanya says, I love the honesty. It's refreshing. I feel the same way. And that's fortunately or unfortunately why we will keep kind of coming back to this weight loss conversation, which is not exactly a weight loss conversation. It's like when I was teaching people how to teach cooking classes and we would talk about authenticity. And there's nothing that feels more inauthentic than to talk about authenticity. And so I kind of feel like this balance feels weird because we keep talking about this thing, but I think it's an important message, an important conversation for our community. And, you know, because I think a lot of times in the plant-based community, we see young, yoga body, very fit people, you know, talking about eating less food sometimes. Not everybody, and I'm not trying to target any specific people, because there are other people who would fit in that who are not kind of trying to make you fit into a mold. Yeah, 80-20 works for you. It's a major step forward, and I like that. Sounds like me. I'm learning to let it go too, as long as I'm healthy. One life, don't want to beat myself up over unimportant things anymore. More self-love. And it's not easy, and that's one of the reasons I try to be super transparent with you guys. It's like, it's super easy for me to support you doing it. It's another level of hard for me to do it. So that's why I try to tell you when I do it right and when I don't. Because sometimes I don't. And, you know, I think it's important. Social media sometimes shows us this, like, perfectionist, everything's great, I'm awesome. And I think you guys see me, I'll be pouring my soy milk, and then all of a sudden I've overjudged it, right? I want you to see all of that. That's why I don't need all edited videos, and I want to do lives. Also, I want to have these really awesome conversations like today with you guys. I am so glad I'm feeling better too, because I have been taking my B12 and D like a grown-up, because I misunderstood how low I was. And I got all kinds of energy last week, and then I got sick, so I was very upset about that. But I'm still feeling that really awesome feeling. Okay, awesome, you guys. I think we're about ready to go and wrap things up. If you have some more questions, go ahead and start typing them in. I'm going to look through these, and we'll have a chance. This is a feel-good ice cream demo. I know, and you guys, okay, here's one thing I need your help with. I've got this store now, and I'm trying to make some t-shirts. So I made 2 t-shirts. I'm not selling them yet. I ordered them for me, so I want to see the quality before I let you guys buy them. But one was, I did keep calm and spin on, and the other one is like vegan little ice cream, and then there's this cute cone, and it says scoop of kindness, so it looks like vegan kindness. If you guys can give me some really good t-shirt slogan ideas, especially for the ice cream or vegan and plant-based in general, if I pick yours and the t-shirts work and I sell them, I can give you a t-shirt or something. We can talk about that. Let's see if there's more than a few people, so you can let me know, or just give me some stuff to go on. I used ChatGPT and it didn't give me very much. And Dee says, oh, here we go. Dr. Deb, just important to find people who are supportive of your goals and coming from a healing and kind place. Yes, absolutely. And Dee says, I'm so just not a perfectionist, gave that up after 21 years of classical ballet. And I totally get that, because I was a classical musician, and I was a programmer. I've done all kinds of stuff, and it's can be hard. And Justice says, Kathy's followers are very supportive, I find, and we have the best community. I cannot ask for a better community. And thanks to all of you. And Tanya says, love your videos, feel like I've made a new friend. You have, and you're part of the community. So you've made lots of new friends, which is awesome. You are so welcome, Marie. Well, I love some t-shirts. You guys know that. Now, I can't draw, but I found some things that I can put on them, too. But I need good sayings. Apple says, t-shirts are a cool idea. So you guys, come on with your... Oh, that's awesome. I love being vegan. That's cute. So keep them coming. You can email them to me, kathyhester@gmail.com, or put them in the comments on the YouTube video, and I will snag them, and if I use them, I'll let you know, and we can talk about that. If I get a lot of people doing it, I'll come up with some formal way. If you just want to share it, that's great too. So you let me know. And thanks for hanging out with me. This has been an extremely long live. Tomorrow, and I'm getting ready to post up about that, Lisa Rice is going to be with us early. So that's on Tuesday, and so she's going to do carrot dogs. And then Wednesday, both of these are at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On Wednesday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have Dr. Steph back, and we're going to talk about pots and pans. So, Dr. Deb, I'm so glad you popped in. It is always awesome to have you here with us. I scream, you screamy, we all screamy. That's cute. Oh, great, I'm getting all kinds of things. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you, Apple, for talking about that. So, okay, I'm going to let you guys go, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow at 1 o'clock with my friend Lisa Rice, who's awesome. If you guys haven't met her, she's amazing, and we have the best time hanging out, okay? Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.